What's up, y'all? Me, Big Dip here, and back with a new book reading. We are still on Tall Friends. We are on chapter 3. The last chapter we read was chapter 2. It was when they were about to get ready to meet the tall animals. So we on chapter 3. Hope everybody enjoy. Something magical. Mia Hearsay at the side of the road. If she kept walking, she would evidently reach the beast. It says she crossed over it and headed on to an overgrown path that led into the woods. Opposite the house, thorny bushes caught at her legs. There are branches heavy with ripe blackberries. Mia egged around them and pushed to the dropping Queen Annie lace. She breathed in the early smell and started to feel calmer. Pulling her coat closer around her, she hurried on down the path until she emerged into a clearing. At one edge of it, a waterfall flowed down a set of mossy stone steps, and then ran away in a gurgling stream. Mia breathed out. The clearing was one of her favorite places in the wood. She and Grandma Annie always used to come here in the spring. They had watched the birds and counted the shrubs while the new leaves opened on the branches. Now most of the leaves had fallen from the trees and the clearing was all gone. This is Mia by the waterfall. Mia wrapped her arms around herself and sat down on the old tree trunk. It felt like everything was changing. I don't like it, she thought. I don't want things to change. She shouted as she remembered Grandma Annie sitting beside her, pointing out things. That's a black bird. And can you see the little wing over there? Oh, and look, there's a unicorn in the trees, Mia. When Mia had swung around, Grandma Annie had laughed. You missed it that time, but keep watching and one day you'll see it too. Or if not a unicorn, you'll see something else magical. I promise, you just need to believe. And Mia did believe. She would never admit it to anyone at school except for Sear and Lexi. But she did still believe in magic, even though she was in 5th grade. She squeezed her arm tightly around herself. I do believe, she thought to the Grandma Annie in her head. I always will. Hello, said a voice. Can you hear me? Mia's eyes flew open. She looked this way and that, but there was no one around. She must have imagined the voice, but then her eyes caught sight of movement in the trees. Behind her, a young fox with a rusty red coat came creeping out. He had large pointed ears, a bright, intelligent gaze, a fluffy, snow-white chest, and a bushy tail that looked like the end of it had been dipped in white paint. And this is the fox that Mia just met. If I get interesting, y'all, Mia hardly dared to breathe. He was beautiful. The tip of the fox's tail started to wag as he edged closer to her. As he got nearer, Mia saw that his eyes was a deep indigo blue that was real. She thought foxes had brown or hazel eyes. Her phone rang, shattering the peace, and the fox raced away. Mia cried out in frustration and pulled out her phone. Her mom's name appeared on the screen. She quickly answered the call. Hi, Mom, she said, her eyes searching for the fox in the shadow of the trees. Hi, sweetie, her mom said. Dad's here and we're ready to go now. Can you come back? Yeah, sure, said Mia. She was looking for the fox. He was gone. She decided, I'll come now. She ended the call and taking one last look and she left the clearing. Her mom and dad were locking up the house when Mia got back. Hi there, her dad called. Ready to go home? Mia nodded. She was thinking about the fox with the chain eyes. And what about the voice he had heard? She was sure someone had spoken to her in the clearing. Her dad trooped up Alex into his arms. Come on, young man, into the car. Car, said Alex in delight, hitting Dad on the head with the precious car he was holding. Yes, car, Dad said, ruefully rubbing his hair. I thought I would stop in to see Aunt Carrie on the way home while Dad and Alex pick up Cleo. Mom said to me, would you like to come with me? Okay, said Mia. She liked Aunt Carrie, the elderly lady. Had been one of Grandma Annie's closely friends. They got into the car and drove up the road to the main tree. Look, there's Violet, said Mom, following Violet in the front yard of her house. Do you want to stop and say hi? Mia shook her head. No, just keep going. To her release, her mom didn't insist. Aunt Carrie lived in a row of houses on the main street. She had gray hair and blue eyes that twinkled in her wrinkled face. When she opened the door to her house, the smell of baking wafted out. Well, this is a lovely surprise, she said, smiling warmly as she saw me and her mom. I wasn't expecting visitors today. We just thought we'd stop by and see how you was, said Mom. All the better for seeing both of you, said Aunt Carrie. Come on in. I got some cookies here that need eating. They followed her inside her cozy house. There were pictures of forest animals on the walls and a collection of crystals and polished stones on the dresser in the kitchen. Aunt Carrie must be one of them saw friends before too then. Put the kettle on, and soon they were all eating freshly baked shortbread and talking about the memorial service that had been held for Grandma Annie. 2 weeks before, the church was packed. What is, said Mom. Annie was very well loved, said Aunt Carol. All her life, right from when we were children. She was always the popular one. Well, she did love helping people, said Mom. And she got involved in so many things here in Westport. Raising money for charity, making the town more eco-friendly, saving the wildflower meadows. She's certainly going to be missed, Aunt Carol agreed. Anyway, how are all you? How's you, Mia? Oh, okay. Mia caught sight of a little oil painting of a fox stalking some rabbits, and it made her think about the fox in the woods. A really real thing happened to me early, she says. She told him about the fox. He came almost close enough for me to touch. Her mom raised her eyebrow. That's unusually. Foxes are shy creatures. Okay, there go Mia, there go her mom, and there go Aunt Carrie sitting at a table. Your grandma used to have a snack with wild animals, said Aunt Carrie. Maybe you could take out for her. Mia liked the idea. I hope I see him again, she said. He had changed eyes. They were really dark blue, like an indigo color. That can't be right, Mia, her mom said. Foxes don't have indigo eyes. It must have been a trick of the light. Aunt Carrie gave me a thoughtful look. Or maybe it was just a very unusual fox. I'd love to know if you see him again, Mia. He sounds fascinated. Oh, gotta get interesting. Mia nodded, glad Aunt Carrie believed her at least. I'll tell you if I see him. As the conversation moved on, Mia turned out of the adult talk and talked about the fox. she and Lexi were coming over in the morning, but maybe she could go to clearing again in the afternoon. She could take some pieces of ham in case he was there. She pictured him eating from her hands, looking up at her with those changed eyes. They had been indigo. She was sure it hadn't just been a trick of the light. Maybe he a magic fox. No, that's chilly, she told herself, but her heart beat just a little faster at the thought. This is the end of chapter 3. Stay tuned for chapter 4 soon. You don't want to miss it. This book gets interesting. So thank y'all for watching. Bye, y'all.